My name is CineMasai Green, and welcome to the Real Notes podcast. I speak with rappers, producers, journalists, and other hip-hop adjacent figures about their relationship with movies, and, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is California via Massachusetts rapper, singer-songwriter, drummer, and DJ Lyric Jones. We spoke about They Cloned Tyrone, Charlie Brown and Peanuts, the Temptations miniseries, the Ray Charles biopic Ray, working her way from Boston to Georgia to California, chasing her rap dreams, transitioning to DJing and dance music, using Even.Biz in the next stage of her career, and the creative process behind her latest singles, In Due Time and Better Now. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. We're moving along. Like, it's not spring. Well, we're reporting live from the past right now. It's March 7th. Y'all aren't going to be hearing this until April, so it's already going to be spring. But like spring's here. I hope y'all in the future are enjoying spring. It's kind of spring outside, but not really. Like, it's cold enough that if you like I just got into vests, so like I was in a vest outside. I'm not in a vest right now. But my name's Dylan Green, CineMasai. Got a lot of names, do a lot of shit. I'm outside, inside, all sides, and yeah, I'm with somebody who's we were just talking about it off camera, but I'm with somebody today who's been through quite the journey over the course of the last like 10, 15, maybe closing in on 20 years. This is somebody that I was put on to maybe about, I want to say it's been like 3-ish years, maybe 4 years at this point, closing in on 4 years. Just a really dope vocalist, a rapper, a singer, a songwriter, a drummer, a teacher, a student of all sorts of different type of things, a victim of adulting as we all are. Fucking Lyric Jones is here, man. Like, yeah, it's like we don't got video this week, but Lyric Jones is indeed in the house with us. Closer Than They Appear has been out for some years, but there's a bunch of other shit that's not Closer Than They Appear that's out for you to go listen to right now. In Due Time and Go Girl, which is not her song but has a great feature from her on it, Better Now and all its remixes. Go look up Lyric Jones. Like, yeah, y'all know. But Lyric Jonesy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world.
Anything for you, Dylan. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Come on, man. I'm just, yeah, like just for some quick context, we were just talking about this off camera, but we've never met in person, but the reason we connected was because Lyric's publicist and good friend of mine, Andre, had sent me her album Closer Than They Appear, which was executive produced by legend and Real Notes alum Fonte, and I reviewed it. I thought it was really good, and it's just, we've just been connected ever since, and she's been on quite the journey since then, and is out on the other side of or at least a different musical identity. So I'm just happy to be able to break all this down and kind of catch up for me, like on some selfish shit. Like, I've been curious what's been going on. So I'm happy.
You're the first interview.
Wow. Wow.
The first person
I'm honored.
Since this journey. Well, actually the second, but like the first like real interview since the music has been out and everything. So
that's fire. Yeah, I'm honored.
How apropos.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, let me in that case, let me just ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here, which is what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Ooh. The last movie or television show I had a strong opinion about. The one that's just coming to my mind, I don't know if it's the very last one, but I think the one that's just at the top of my brain is it Who Killed Tyrone or Who Cloned Tyrone?
Oh, They Cloned Tyrone.
They Cloned Tyrone. Yes, yeah. Yes. That was the last thing that I saw that left like an impression, at least. I've seen several movies since then, but as you're asking me this question in the moment, that's the one that had me had my brain going, great acting. Had my faves in there, had Jamie Foxx and all of that. So, really, really enjoyed that film, and I love thought-provoking splices of conspiracies and stuff like that. So, loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, same. It has to have been a couple years since it dropped. I remember watching it when it first came out. Me and my family, we watched it, and I had a really good time with it. I'm a mark for anything like blaxploitation adjacent. Like I
Yeah.
love blaxploitation everything, and this is like, I don't know. It's just like a mix of all my favorite things: blaxploitation stuff, hip hop stuff. Conspiracy theories can be fun to dabble in, especially from like a satirical standpoint, like this was. Yeah, like yeah, I remember having a good time with it, and like it's been a while since I watched it, so I wish I could remember. Like I had like way more detailed thoughts about it, but
In the
it's been
moment, right? Yeah.
yeah, nah, it's been a little minute since I've seen it. But yeah, I mean, just like off rip, what I can remember, like yeah, the performances are great. I really liked the music. I know, I know it might have had some like I might have had a few like pacing and story issues kind of near the end, but that's more like nitpicky critic shit. Just like as an experience, it was really cool, and I
Yeah,
think it
just
was yeah.
it was super
Yeah.
funny too. I love like a little bit of like just moments of some serious context.
Mm-hmm.
So just the banter between Jamie Foxx and I forgot the brother's name, who's the lead character,
Oh,
who was in Star Wars.
oh,
Star
John
Wars.
Boyega.
John Boyega, and then the sister who was also in the movie. They just had just great chemistry. It was great casting, and it had a little bit of Black Dynamite callbacks in there too, which is
Exactly.
one of my favorite movies. Just talking about like putting stuff in the chicken and in the frequencies and the dance music,
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
shit is
yeah.
very real and honestly a good reason of as to why I pivoted a little bit is because that frequency is very real. How it affects how you act.
Mm,
So I would say honorable mention though too, as we were talking, would have to be House of Dragon. I'm a big
mm,
Throny person, so I had strong opinions about that too. I just remembering just wanting to talk about it a lot when
mm.
it was on. So what was that, about a year ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Not too long ago. I haven't really been watching TV as much as I used to, like during the pandemic. It's all been pretty much basketball and podcasts as of lately. So
Hmm.
those are the two that are on the tip of my brain.
So I want to touch on all of that. First and foremost, when did you watch They Clone Tyrone?
As soon as it came out,
Oh, okay, okay,
immediately.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
as soon as anything Jamie Foxx does, it's an
Right.
immediate press play for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Automatic. Yeah. And then, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a throny. I know a lot of people who are. I got a lot of homies who are. I,
Boo.
I haven't like I've seen 3 episodes of Game of Thrones in my entire life. I've seen the first episode. I think I saw the end of the second or third season because I showed up at someone's party, and I might have seen one of like the last like 5 of that whole series, and I haven't watched any of House of the Dragon. So I'm completely out the loop on
I know, because you
that.
called it House of the Dragon, and
See,
we
exactly.
all tease
Yeah.
people when they put the in front of it,
Cool.
or where black folk just be like, "You watch dragons?" Like just just drag. You watch House Dragon?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that typically isn't my genre of things to watch either. But shouts out to Rod Digger, who I'm very very close with.
Shout
She's
out.
big into Game of Thrones and all of that, and so naturally, when you just are close with somebody, you just develop interest in what they're interested in. Sometimes, like if that's something they always talk about. So, I just pressed play on it one time. I think it was during the pandemic when I started watching Game of Thrones, and then I was
Yeah.
locked in ever since. And I was way late because I think, when did it end? Like 2010 or 2011, I think was the very very last episode on HBO
Of Game of Thrones.
of
It actually
Game of Thrones. Yeah,
it
or
might have been
2012.
it might have been a little later than that because I'm pretty sure I was like out of college when Game of Thrones ended.
because it was
So
7 years,
yeah.
seven seasons. So
Oh,
it
I
was.
don't
I'll
remember.
I'll basically say this: it was long over by the time I got into it, like over.
Right.
So and now it's like House of Dragon, and how those breaks were. It was pretty much 2 year breaks in between the seasons.
Right.
So it's dragging on.
No pun.
Drag on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, cuz like yeah, I only ask cuz like I know I'm a sci-fi fantasy person. I don't watch everything that I can get my hands on, but like I love sci-fi, I love fantasy. Some of my favorite properties of any of like just some of my favorite stuff is incorporating science fiction and fantasy in some way, which is like which makes it fun that you chose House of Dragon and They Cloned Tyrone because you literally got every poll in that choice. So that was pretty cool. What else was I gonna ask you? Oh, basketball. Who's your team? How's oh
Celtics.
oh of course you're from Boston. Of course you're a
Come
Celtics
on
fan.
now. Come on now. Although we're looking a little weird as to be the reigning champs, but at least we're not like how Denver did like a huge drop. We're at least we're like 2 or 3 in the East, I believe.
Right.
Last I
Oh, okay.
looked,
Mm,
I hope there hasn't been any drastic changes. But last I looked, we were like several games behind Cleveland, so
mm-hmm.
they are definitely cooking in the East.
Man.
I wouldn't be mad if if we matched up with them because that would just be a good series. But I think the most entertaining one would be Celtics and Knicks.
Yeah, I just like I mean like I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been tapped in this season the way I want to,
Uh,
but considering that that the Knicks almost took it to the hole last year, like I don't know. Like I don't know, like my father has been a fan of the Knicks his whole life. So I just like I guess it's just like a family passed down type of thing. Like I just want to see the Knicks win. Like the fact that they even got into the finals at all was like, wow. Like maybe we could actually do this at some point. So I'm just like, I don't care. I just want to see him go the distance, just for the underdog aspect of it. You know.
I mean, it may be a little blasphemous to say, but I like the Knicks. Like I just like that squad. I like the Villanova boys. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just like them. I like the chemistry. I like the story about all of them playing in college, and the Knicks are way overdue for a
Yeah.
win. So if they beat us, or if they beat Cleveland, or whatever, if they go to distance, like I'm a feel away. But we won last year, so at least
Yeah, I was gonna
we
say
got a
y'all already
chip.
got it. So
Yeah, we got something. So
yeah.
they're balling. So I wouldn't be mad at
Cool.
that.
Good shit. Yeah, no, like it's like I feel like it's a little too well. Once again, like I'm not as tapped in with this season just yet, but like I still feel like it's a little too soon to call
A little
like who's
early.
gonna wind up. Yeah, it's definitely early to say who's gonna be the Eastern Conference, Western Conference, but I don't know. I don't know. I just love like basketball is something I've loved my whole life with while having kind of these like I have like very intense flings with basketball where it's like I'll be really into it for a season and then be really out of it for a season, and it's just kind of like back and forth, give and take, because like everything else kind of just takes up my time. But whenever I sit down with it and talk to people about it, I'm always reminded like of all the sports, that's the one I keep coming back to. That isn't like esports, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I want to run some history back with you.
Okay.
I want to take it all the way back. So,
All the
what's the
way back.
first? Yeah, all the way back. What's the first movie experience you can remember having? It could be at the theater. It could be at your cousin's house. Just like the first thing that comes to mind for you.
Can I name two?
Yeah. Name as many
Okay.
as you want.
Okay, so the first in the theater experience that I remember, and it's kind of weird because it's a little traumatizing, but you remember what traumatizes you, was Titanic. My dad took me to see the Titanic at what year
Mm-hmm.
did that come out? Like 98,
Nine. Yeah, sometime between 96 and 98.
98. So I was definitely in elementary school, and I was bawling in the theater. Like that emotionally really fucked me up. Because even adults, it was heavy for adults. But me and my
Hmm.
dad were both crying. That was a heavy film for me to see at that time, but it was such a good movie. And I remember it being the talk of school and everywhere. So going in the theater to see Titanic was like we had to leave. We left. I didn't see, I didn't see Jack go down. We was out of there by before that happened because I was just distraught. But
Right.
that was my first. That's the first memory of in the theater that I can remember.
Yeah.
And I would say like at home, all of my favorite movies were like Disney movies, like Aladdin,
Yeah.
Lion King, all of those. So I would say the Peanuts. Is it Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown? Race for
The
Your
one
Life.
where they're on the one where they're in the cars, or the one where they go the one where they go like camping and they're in like a kayak. I can't
That one,
remember.
the kayak,
Yeah.
because that was like a longer. That was like a movie instead of the like little
Yep.
episodes, and I just really loved that movie. I was a big Peanuts fan as a kid. Like I had the pillows, I had the
Hmm.
blankets, and all the cassette tapes. And I was like a little Linus. I had my little security blanket, sucking my finger and everything. So I
Mm.
was definitely Peanuts kid. But yeah, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, the music. That's how I got into like jazz and like scoring. How scoring can really impact movies, even if it's a cartoon.
Right.
So
Hmm.
yeah, all the Disney things, Lion King and all that stuff. But I would say the Peanuts, anything Charlie Brown was the first memory movie wise.
Wow. So I'm really happy you said that because I was also big into Peanuts as a kid, and I
Oh,
still and I still kind of am now. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. I was
oh,
when I was in fourth grade, we did Snoopy the musical. I don't know if you've ever heard of Snoopy the musical before.
yes, of course.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So like we did. I don't know. I don't even know why I asked that. So like so we, so yeah, we did Snoopy the musical, and I was Linus in it in fourth grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, like, I had the blanket. I had the striped red and black shirt and everything, and and then he has that big song about the Great Pumpkin. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, like from then, I was like. I think the first Peanuts thing I ever saw, I think it was the classic. I think it was It's the Great Pumpkin. That was the first one I ever saw. Like my family and I would watch it every year.
Mm.
And from there, like I would go, and then from there we also had maybe not all the cassettes, but like a bunch of them. Like I've seen Great Pumpkin hella times. I've seen the Christmas one. Who hasn't seen the Christmas one hella times? I've seen Race for Your Life, and there's one where they also made a movie like 10
Snoopy Come
years
Home.
ago. Yeah.
That's another
They
one.
yeah, no, Snoopy Come Home, but the one I'm thinking of is they made like maybe like a CGI Peanuts movie in 2015, I want to say.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I went to the theater to see that one. Yeah.
That movie. Yeah, me too. That that shit was it was just like cuz like I love the way they animated it. Like they did it where it was like clearly computer generated, but they made it look like it was hand drawn on top of that, like kind of what the Into the Spider-Verse movies did, cuz I think
Mm-hmm.
that Charlie Brown movie came out before the Into the Spider-Verse movies did. So, like it was cool to see that implemented in that way because like Charles Schultz was like really big on, I mean, he was kind of he passed before computer generated imagery was like a thing for real, but yeah, I'm getting too in the weeds. I love Peanuts. I love Charlie Brown. I love Joe Cool. I love Franklin. I love Pigpen. I love Lucy, Peppermint Patty.
The whole
Um,
gang.
all of them, man. I Schroeder. I love Schroeder. Like the kid on the piano. Like, yeah,
Schroeder
I'm
and
a.
Linus were by far my favorite characters. Other
Oh
than
yeah,
Snoopy, but Schroeder and Linus were the homies.
yeah, nah, like yeah, I mean, how, like who on planet Earth doesn't love Snoopy? Like Snoopy's just, I don't know, yeah, no, I got a stuffed, y'all can't see it, but I got a stuffed Snoopy somewhere over in the corner of my room. I love Snoopy, man. Just I don't know, just like there's something so like pure and plain spoken and direct about Charlie Brown that
Yes.
I just kind of like connected. It's just like that. It's just like really like subtle like slice of life type of, like
Simpler
I feel like that
times.
was right. Like that was like my first exposure in like comic or cartoon form to like slice of life stuff on
Mhm.
like in that way. So it's like I just think about it a lot. Like I've even like I even had like a book of the comics growing up. So like yeah, I'm yeah. Yeah. I love the Peanuts. I think they're great. And what else? Oh, you mentioned this. You mentioned the music. Yeah, of course. Like Vince Guaraldi's Charlie Brown Christmas is. I've probably said this before, but like my favorite. It might be, like it feels basic to say, but I'm gonna say it's my favorite jazz album. Like I listen to it every year around the holidays, and like I it's like to me it's not the holidays if I don't hear that, if I don't
I
hear that
agree.
album or those songs like
Definitely agree. Yeah, I love that's I think that was my first exposure to just recognizable jazz music for me was
right.
through the Peanuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It's like I wonder so often if like the trio was just thinking to themselves like, "Oh, we got a heater with this Charlie Brown album." Like I don't I like I always wonder what the process of like them reaching out to I always wondered what the process of like the Peanuts organization reaching out to them was like, and was like, create this, like make jazz for this Charlie Brown. Like I don't know, like it just like it seems like the type of thing that somebody would be like, why does this cartoon have a jazz soundtrack? Like it just feels so like inexplicable. But now it just like it's just like, oh, of course Charlie Brown is jazzy. We don't even think about it. So it's yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So like as you get older and you start to have more life experience and you start refining and developing your own palette, I like to think of this next thing as a capital M movie. Like something that you saw that really stopped you in your tracks and connected with you in like an emotional or artistic or spiritual way, like kind of like earlier on in your life before or I mean like whenever really, but like
Hmm.
what's the first capital M movie that comes to mind for you?
I've seen a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're, can you repeat again the impact, like what you're saying that it
um
does?
yeah, just like something that connected with you in like an emotional, artistic, or spiritual way, like
Okay.
this is a movie type shit.
Um, if I want to take too long, I might just spit out the first thing that comes to my head.
Whatever works.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if this is really truly the answer, but the first thing that comes to my brain is the Temptations docu movie docu series biopicy thing.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, I had to think about it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Temptations. So, I'm sure there were other movies that were just as impactful, but it's just the one that I know all the lines to. I think it's what really gave me insight of what it takes to pursue a music career, people coming and going, the difficulties of adulting through it, and relationships. Just like at that age, again, another movie I think that came out in 97, 98. So those years, like when I'm 10, 11, that's when I'm starting to grasp the concept of like, okay, this is what I kind of want to do or not do. And I didn't grow up listening to the Temptations until that movie. Then I was just the
Right.
biggest Temptations fan at 10 years old. Like the girl's all right with me. My parents are like, "What are you talking about?" So I
Ain't
think
nobody
that, and
here.
yeah, like what do you how do you know these records?
Right.
So I would say that's the biggest memory of like watching, other than like cartoons and stuff, of watching an actual film that was based on real life, based on music, and just seeing a very real depiction of what it was like in the 60s and 70s becoming
Right.
a music artist. I mean, yeah, like everything else was like all these like incredible. I would say an honorable mention was Brown Sugar,
Mm.
Tay Diggs, Sanaa Lathan.
Classic.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just I felt very seen watching that movie. Early 2000s. So yeah, like those, yeah, I can't really think of any other ones that are coming. I've seen so many, I'm 36, so I can't
Mm,
imagine all the movies and documentaries and stuff that are just spinning in my brain. But those are the ones that I'll watch it at any moment. Like Brown Sugar, come on, boom, press and play.
yeah, yeah, no,
um, and it just takes me back to a time. Brown Sugar in particular is like I was just so in love with hip hop and the story of hip hop and how impacted me at the time, and the love story involved, and all my favorite artists and actors were in it.
yeah,
So that just checked off a lot of boxes at the time. And yeah, the Temptations um, was just, I just knew every song.
mm,
You play that movie right now, I'm quoting everything from it. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no. Like yeah, like as soon as you said it, the first thing I thought was, "Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis." Like
ain't nobody
that.
coming to see you, Otis.
That shit kills me. It's just like the delivery is just so perfect on that
Incredible
line, man.
acting.
Yeah. He said, "We're coming to see the Temptations." Immediately, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Like,
You wish you could do it like
incredible,
me.
son. God, yeah. See, I haven't seen that Temptations movie in such a long time, but like growing up, like my father is very into doo wop and R&B. He's about to be 80 this year, so he was like that
Oh
was his
wow.
era. So like that's all his music. So we listen to a lot of Temptations and a lot of like that whole like you name an artist, he was like playing them in the house. But funny enough, I didn't see the movie until like maybe when I was in, it might have been like sometime between high school and college. I was like kind of surprised that I hadn't seen the movie until I did. But yeah, like that, yeah, like it's not one where I'm like you where I can like quote the whole thing front to back, but like if you put it on, I'm gonna watch the whole thing and I'm gonna sing like at least half the songs while it's happening. Like that's such a it's yeah, it really just touches you in the heart. And why am I blanking on the other thing you just said? It was what
The
was the other
Temptations
movie we
and
just,
Brown Sugar.
there we go, brown sugar. Yeah, like that was, it's weird because like the story usually is like I've seen the movie because like or even just like I saw the movie, it kind of like, well, actually, no, 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 no. I take it back. My story with Brown Sugar is pretty much like yours. Like when I saw it, I was already into all this stuff. Maybe I didn't necessarily know that I wanted to be like involved in the way that I'm involved now, but I watched the movie and I was like, "Oh, like that's a rap journalist and like they cover this type of thing and like this type of music and they're
Exactly.
finding love and connecting." And then once again, like like going back to like an individual scene, like I'll just never forget, Tay Diggs coming up on um Tay Diggs coming to the dinner and kind of losing his mind a bit and meeting the boyfriend and just being like, "Oh, what's your name?" He's like, "Richard Lawson." He's like, "Oh, Richard Lawson." Sound like a fancy man. And yeah, like I don't know, like I just like these are movies that are just like they're like right back here in like the lizard brain, like even if you don't think you know it front to back, like you just start and it's just like muscle memory, like riding a bike. It just all comes back to you. And it's I haven't seen Brown Sugar in, it has to have been like a decade. It's been a long time, but
Hmm.
like I don't know, like that was one of the first places, like that and the Nutty Professor 2 soundtrack were the first places I think I ever heard Music Soul Child. So
Oh
like
wow. Yeah.
yeah, like that was yeah, nah, yeah, you're just unearthing a bunch of memories for me right now. I'm sorry, I'm babbling, but 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 yeah, nah, like those are what was I gonna say? The the my version of the Temptations my version of the Temptations biopic is I saw the Ray Charles movie with Jamie Foxx, back when it first came out, and like that to me is like that movie comes on, I know every line front to back. Like that was like I got really into Ray Charles, after that and like found all the songs. And I think maybe they had put out his duets album Genius Loves Company right after that, and I like
Okay.
grabbed that and was just like to me, like what you went through with the Temptations, I went through with Ray Charles. Like that was like I knew all the popular songs. I was singing Georgia on My Mind and Hit the Road Jack and like all that shit. So like yeah, yeah, like that those types of movies are so important just from like a music history perspective because they really do put people around our age. Like I'm about to be 33 in 2 weeks, so I'm not that much younger than you. But
Uh-huh.
like that's like those movies are so important to like people's understanding of music history and just like music period. Like it's like a lot. I feel like biopics in that space are kind of like inflection points for hella people, and it's always important to celebrate those. You know.
Definitely tons and tons of movies, especially at that time, like early 2000s and stuff that,
Mm-hmm.
I remember and loved. There was a lot of black films too. But yeah, those are the ones that just based on your question as far as like was monumental, I would say those two.
Yeah, those are really good answers, and I'm happy. Like I'm kind of blown. I don't think anybody's brought up brown sugar on this show. Like I've been
Oh
doing this
wow.
show for like 4 years, and nobody's brought up brown sugar. I'm kind of surprised, but so I appreciate you popping the seal on that, and I hope it comes up again because like I said, I haven't watched it in like 10 years, and I just want to like sit down and it's about time for the brown sugar revisit. I think.
Mhm.
Um, but I want to do the same with music for you. So like even before, I mean, like you had already mentioned that like the Temptations movie was one of the earliest examples of you kind of like seeing the makings of a music career and being like, oh, I kind of want to do that. But even before that, like I always think of this as like when did music become capital M music for you, just in terms of like being fascinated with it, like before you wanted to make it, before you wanted to perform, just like when did you start enjoying and being fascinated by music?
I think there's two big moments for that for me. I would say if I'm working my way, I always say this and kind of chuckle, but now I think I'm at the age where people kind of get it when I say this. But the little kid era where Bow Wow was out, Lil Romeo was out, B2K
Mm-hmm.
was out,
Mm-hmm.
um, NSYNC, like that was when I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. And it was really Bow Wow per se, mainly because like I mean, of course, being a little girl is like seeing him. He's like, "Oh my god, he's so cute." But the
Mm-hmm.
art, the artistic side of me was really going deeper and seeing like, yo, he's hanging out with the Destiny's Child and Snoop, like just getting these icons kind of co-signing him and him being this little kid and being so good at his age and stage presence and command the way he commanded the stage. Like go back and look at Lil Bow Wow and when he was doing Bounce with Me and how he was just floating on that track and rocking the stage, rocking with his DJ. Just that for me at what 9, 10, maybe like 11, 12 was like, yo, I perform too, and that's how you do it, right?
Yeah.
So this was like way after he did um was like the Apollo or something like that, where he was copying Snoop from front to back. But yeah, there was just a wave of kid artists. So it was very impactful for me because I already loved music and wanted to do music. But when I saw successful, talented, because mind you, there's there's plenty of kids doing music, but like
Mm.
success, seeing that level of success from all these kid bands, and then a solo act with it being mainly Bow Wow, I was definitely like, yo, hell yeah. Um, Now, funny enough, around that same time was also like the Rockefeller era
Yep.
and neo soul era. So I was kind of pulled in a lot of different directions musically. It was a melting pot to me at the time. There was so much good stuff going on in 99, 2000, 2001. So you'll catch a gospel Lyric Jones on the same playlist as a neo soul fan Lyric Jones, and then like hip hop Lyric Jones, and it was just all of it was on the same playlist, jazz
Right.
and everything. That's when I was starting to go to around the time when I started going to Berklee College of Music and learning more about some of these indie artists like a Mel LaRoe drifting off and doing her own thing. Let It See was like under the radar out in Oakland doing her thing. So I was up on it very early. So this my second answer, the second impactful time was Jill Scott's Who Is Jill Scott album. That's when I said
Like,
that's what I said, "Oh nigga, I'm an artist now. Like I have to do whatever this woman is doing, how she's making me feel." I think Baduism live was a few years prior, but I didn't get hip on it until after. I That's the time I remember.
My fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the Real Notes Patreon one time. For as little as $5 a month, you get exclusive goodies like video of every interview, 2-day early access to every interview, an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, exclusive access to the Real Talk Movie Night archive, and early pre-sale links for all live events. If you want to give a little more, you get other exclusives like retro 60-second movie reviews and monthly 90-minute workshops with me, where we can discuss whatever creative questions or projects you might have going on. Head over to patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES to join right now. I repeat, all videos will only be available on the Patreon. Thanks for listening. Shout out to my patrons. Now let's get back to talking.
Wanting to know who the drummer is, who's singing backgrounds. Like I'm 12. Like
Right.
who cares about that shit at 12? But I did. So I remember just reading the liner notes, seeing like James Poyser and Jazzy Jeff being a part of those projects and knowing those names at 12. So
Yeah.
you got little girl kid band Lyric Jones, and then you got like as I started to mature in my taste was Jill Scott, for sure, and then everything that kind of was within that family, the Roots and Jaguar Wright and all of that. I kind of was in the Soulquarians, Philly sound, very much heavy after that.
Yeah. That's fire. Yeah. I don't remember when I got into Badu. It feels like I've just like been, I don't know, like Badu in particular, Badu and Jill Scott. Well, actually, I remember with Jill Scott specifically because I didn't come on until around Fully Human Volume 1. That's the album Golden's on, right? I think.
Yeah, Beautifully Human. Yeah.
Beautifully Human. There we go. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like Golden was the first Jill Scott song I ever heard, but then I went
Get
back
out.
and found yeah, like yeah, I don't know how or why that was the first one, but I obviously went back and I remember
That
how
makes sense. It was
it's
04 and you're like 4 years younger. So when
right.
Who Is Jill Scott came out, you was like what, 8 or something?
8 or 9, yeah, something like that. And then
Yeah.
and then on top of that, Jill Scott was on Lupe's first album. She was on Daydreaming, and like I heard her on there, but that was also like '06.
That was way
And
later. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
not
yeah.
too in theory, it's when you're younger, the years feel so much longer.
Mm-hmm.
So 6
Yeah.
years later felt like what? That's a whole nother artist right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
basically.
she wasn't really hopping on any other rap joints other than like maybe with Black Thought or the Roots. She was
Right.
very much in her lane doing her own thing. So yeah, once she was working with Lupe and other acts, I kind of was like, oh yeah, I've been up on this on Jill in 2000.
Right.
She
Yeah,
seemed like
yeah.
an older, seasoned artist by then, but some people were just getting hip at Beautifully Human, and then she took a huge break, like like 7 years
Yeah,
break
something like
until The
that.
Light of the Sun came out. Yeah.
Right.
Oh no,
But
I'm
yeah.
sorry. The Real Thing. The Real Thing came out after that.
Mm.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, she was like 3 to 4 year gaps in between her projects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like once again, like I don't know, just like thinking about those first two projects in particular, and even the stuff she was doing with the Roots before she started making music on her own. Like of course, like she's on Things Fall Apart. Her and wait, no, her and Badu aren't both on the song.
On what song?
On You Got Me. Who's on? Which
No.
one of them's? I always
So,
forget.
so Badu is the actual feature of the song, but Jill Scott demoed it.
Right.
Um,
There we
so
go.
yeah, it was like she did the demo of it, and there was like I guess like some rumors that there was tension behind that, but it was
Right.
originally Jill Scott. But when that record actually came out as an official release, Badu is the feature. So
Got it.
they
Okay.
both are known for the hook of that because it was circulating in the ethos with Jill first.
Right. But yeah, like that yeah, I always forget because of that kind of like nebulous like, like she did the demo, but she's on the
Yep.
song like they're both affiliated to me. And of course like the whole like the larger neo soul. Like I mean I'm also a neo soul baby in that way, like I was going to say about Badu like Green what's it called? Green Eyes is maybe top 5 favorite songs ever for me. Like and Mama's Gun, the album is I don't know, like those records are just so like there's just like there's so much soul in them. Like I didn't want to use the word soul to describe it, but like there's like really so much just like they put so much of themselves in there, and it just feels like this emotional journey that like that and Voodoo are just they're these like epics to me. Like
I
I
agree.
think I think of Mama's Gun and like Beautifully Human and Who is Jill Scott, and Voodoo is like just these epics that could stand up against like the works of epic literature, but they're also just like I don't know, it's just good music. It feels good to listen to and just like it really is the type of music that makes you wonder like who played the drums here, why'd they stack that vocal harmony like that,
Right.
like the fuck is he saying, like just like stuff like that. Like it's I don't know, like music. I'm in a space where music still makes me feel like that, and I'm very grateful. But like those early memories of just being floored by these albums are just like, like that's the type, like that's like foundational for me too. So I'm picking up everything you're putting down right now
Mhm.
for
Can you
sure.
hear me okay
Yeah,
still?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, it's not echoing or anything, right?
No, no, no,
Okay.
no. So like you had mentioned that you were already going to Berkeley College of Music at this point, and I know that I mean like yeah, like you started out wanting to be a musician pretty young and had started working at it pretty young around the time you were maybe like I want to say like in like your mid-teens, really? Like maybe
Um,
15?
yeah, when I started like my first rhymes and deciding that hey, I want to kind of pursue this a little bit more
Mhm.
was around like 15, 16. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, excuse me. So, look, I only asked because I know that was the time that you had started working with Brian Ellis,
That's
and
right.
like y'all had met, and he had kind of started to take you under his wing and bring you places like around the Boston area. So like considering all of that, like you're like you want to do this, you're building up the skills. I assume you're drumming at this point.
Yeah. 16. Yep, I was drumming. I was playing drums at church for sure. And
Right. Yeah,
then
yeah.
I was definitely taking lessons at Berkeley. Yes, so I would say that would
Word.
be around the time. I was mainly singing and rapping, but I was definitely like playing drums around the same time too.
Got you. So considering all of that, like this kind of like phase, this like the phase before phase one. Like when did you know that music was going to become more than just a hobby for you? And not on some like, oh, I would love to do that someday, in the sense that like I'm doing this. Like it's a rap. Like I'm here, I got the skills. I'm going.
Definitely in college. So I decided to go to the University of Georgia for actual undergrad instead of going to Berkeley,
Right.
mainly because I'm from Boston and I felt I was kind of joint enrolled anyway while in high school. So me staying for an additional 4 years just sounded kind of counterproductive. And I really wanted to move to Atlanta at the time. Radar and our crew moved to Atlanta as well. And I had family down there, and music scene was really good in '06 in the South. So I was like, hey, gotta get out of Boston. So um, yeah, I would definitely have to say um, yeah, around that time. I'm sorry, I think I kind of blanked out. What was your original question, Dylan? I'm sorry. Whoopsie. I can't hear you. Hold on a second.
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the original question was when did you know music was going to become more than just a hobby for you?
Yes. Sorry. I was
No,
going
it's
on the
cool.
tangent of my story, but yeah. So when I got to University of Georgia, um I was still doing music and kind of joining the fraternity talent shows, and um I immediately realized I was different from everybody else once I got there. Even though I went to school to pursue journalism and kind of just you use music as just a hobby, it just chose me. It was just like, nah, you're gonna do this for real, for real. I just couldn't fight it. So I would go to Atlanta and do open mics and just continue to network, and it just couldn't escape it. So definitely around sophomore year, freshman sophomore year in college at UGA is when I started putting out collaborating, putting out songs, getting on getting asked to do different features. Like people were taking me seriously, so I started taking it seriously too.
Right, and you were in a band while you were at UGA as well, right?
I was in the big band, so I went up to shouts out to Steve Dance, who was the jazz instructor at UG at the time. I kind of just I wasn't even in the music program or music school at all, and I just decided to go there and introduce myself and let him know that I play drums. And he heard me play one time and was just kind of almost kicked the drummer that was already in the band out of the band in a way. At first, I was kind of just sitting in on a song or two until the next semester I was the drummer completely.
Wow.
So I kind of deboed that kid out of the band, which was funny, but just in time to get the experience to go to Italy and go to Beijing. Priceless opportunities and experiences that sadly, as you get older, they become the memories start to fade. You're starting to remember all the details and everything. And sometimes when I talk about it, it feels like a figment of my imagination because I
Mm,
can't touch it and feel it anymore. It's 20 years ago almost.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was when I started doing that type of stuff and starting my name started getting in blogs and started getting booked for like A3C Hip Hop Festival and
Yeah.
ending up on some notable like having some notable features like with Torre and uh just the earlier Lyric Jones years were like, okay, I'm doing this. So like '09, '08, '09 was when I was like, yeah, this is what I do.
Right. Yeah, no, and like you're already coming at it from so many different angles. Like you're a rapper, you're a drummer, you're a singer. You got band experience. You were in the big band. It took you all around the world before you had even like formally started recording on your own.
That's right.
And then like later on stuff like Love's Trail Mix happens and like you start to build even more of a name for yourself. But before we move on to like where you're at right now, I wanted to focus a little bit on your last two like more rap focused projects, those being Gas Money with Nameless and Closer Than They Appear.
Okay.
Which like like re-listening to those two projects, a big theme of both of them is like you made working toward your dreams of recognition, like not just like of like having the skill to be able to do it, but just like wanting to kind of hit this next echelon of like how do I advance so that even more people know who I am. I feel like that's a pretty big theme of both of these projects, you
Mhm.
know.
Just
So I
the perseverance story, the not the woe is me, but it's like
oh
the
yeah.
I'm trying my best. uh, heart posture is definitely. I think that's kind of thematic with all of my music, even
Yeah.
now. It's just kind of like, listen, I'm pushing through. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So like walk me through very quickly the process of putting Gas Money together, and like how you and Nameless came together to just make that do what it did.
Yeah. Well, really quickly, because it's a very long story, but really quickly, me and Nameless have known each other for years, just mainly through mutual friends and collaborators. Within like the festival scene, we would bump into each other at South by Southwest and A3C Hip Hop Festival, and knew a lot of the same like Michigan homies. And particularly, damn, the homies is escaping me right now. That's bad that I forgot their names. But yeah, he just had a numerous amount of collaborations with mutual friends. So he sent me a track which ended up being Adulting, and then that's when I was also going through a baby hiatus at the time, just kind of like just focusing on work, and I was driving Uber and Lyft heavy, and he sent me Adulting, and I was like, what? I immediately stopped everything. I remember just laying in the bed and stopped everything, and went to the mic and started humming melodies and writing. Whenever a producer makes me feel that way, I just latch onto them, because it's very rare. I'm very, very picky, especially when people just send me beats.
Hmm.
Normally they don't get it right. Normally it's because they expect me to like something from another work that I did. So when producers just randomly send me beats and don't know me really that well or haven't worked with me, I may find something that I like within the beat, but I typically want to just deconstruct it, start over. It's never a one hit like boom. So when that happens and it's a lightning in a bottle like that, I gravitate, and I'm just like, yo, we got to do more, cuz I ain't felt this way in a minute. So, and we did. And one thing with Nameless is we are very communicative and collaborative, and the history of my hip hop journey is that's never the case. It's usually producers sending me beats, and it's like, yo, hop on this, do what you want. So I'm the facilitator of everything. And most artists are, that just is what it is. And I'm still that way to an extent, but to have somebody so actively participate in ideas and title and artwork, and Nameless came out to LA, we shot videos, and got in the studio together, thought of sample ideas together. I just didn't feel alone. Finally, even though I made all the executive decisions, I felt like Nameless was very much a part of it, and very, very proud. Like, I look back on that project, and it was my favorite, most enjoyable album to make, even through the tough times, because we named it Gas Money because we both were driving for a living.
Right.
Like Nameless was a truck driver, I was doing Uber and Lyft, and in between breaks and pulling over is when we would communicate and send each other voice notes and whatever. And so our theme was like, yo, if we ain't doing shit without at least gas money, we ain't doing nothing for free, you gotta at least throw some gas money in the tank. So shouts out to Nameless. That is my brother for life, for life. And we both just doing our best. So basically that was the story between us. Is it just really started off with Adulting, and we continue to kind of grow from there. I got all the features together, and got it mixed and mastered, and everything. So that's my bro.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was gonna be the next thing I said, because yeah, like even just looking at the features again, like Blue and Vic Spencer and Guilty Simpson and Black
Yeah.
Soul, like just I like it's just this like y'all really pulled together this crazy vision for this project that you
Mm-hmm.
know like buoyed the both of y'all to greater heights. And then and then I know it didn't come until another couple years after, but or actually no, it was only a year. Wow, Closer Than They Appear was 2020.
Yeah, that's when you were like,
Yo,
we known each other 3 years. I'm like, actually, we pushing almost five.
yeah.
2025 right now.
I thought, yo, okay, yeah, no, that's a head bust. For some reason, I thought this was like 2022. The pandemic fucked up everyone's perception of time, mine especially. But
I will
okay,
never forget it. That album,
jeez,
I will never ever forget it.
of course, yeah. I mean, like, how could you not? You know, I mean, like, for those who don't know, the big footprint story marks for that are like, you know, like Lyric gets in touch with Fonte and Fonte EPs and like the two of them. I'm not gonna tell your story for you. Please tell me how Closer Than They Appear came together.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, I was deep into teaching at the time, and
Where were you teaching?
I was teaching at Musicians Institute. I also dropped gas money while I started teaching at MI. It's right here in LA and Hollywood,
Mm,
and Fonte is my top five. Anyone who knows me knows that. So
yeah.
to that was really the theme of that project, and even the title not only represented me but even my connection with Fonte, because he felt so far away but like right around the corner in a way, because we were 1 degree of separation but so many people. We were connected online for so many years, and I just looked at him, as I still do, just as an idol, just like, wow, he is a big influence as to why I sing, why I rap, why I've divvied into different genres, why I know so many
Mm-hmm.
different groups like Jazzanova and Four Hero. Anything he did at the time, I would press play and follow it. So to connect with him was very pivotal, and why, I remember us starting to work on it and me thinking of a title, and looking, we were in the car and I was looking at the rear view mirror while we were talking, and it was like, objects in mirror are closer than they appear. And I looked at him and was like, Tate, that's the title of the damn album. So yeah, we got together. We first started working on it pre-pandemic, January, end of January, beginning of February of 2020. I get back home 2 weeks later, the world stops.
Right.
So we did the rest of it remotely, and that's all she wrote. Like, we just did our best and pushed through all the drama and everything that was going on in the world. He would send me beats. Most of it we started already, but pushing through to completion was all throughout the pandemic. And yeah, that's pretty much that. How we connected.
Yeah. I mean, like what a like what an opportunity to work with somebody who's kind of been an idol of yours, and to like not just like get like a feature or like a beat, but like to like really, kind of do what you and Nameless did to an extent, where like y'all are like really working on this together and like building this from the ground up. Like,
Right.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, like, yeah, like I'll never forget when Andre sent me that project and I listened to it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm writing about this. Like, and see, I'm remembering more stuff's coming back to me now, because I hadn't been writing for Pitchfork very long when I reviewed that. It had been like, I had been there for like, it couldn't have been longer than like 6-ish months, maybe that, like something like that. But like being able to like just like listening to the stuff that you were saying, and like seeing like even on that project, even though it's more rap focused, like it's like the variety in the beats and the way that you approached, like even before I knew everything else about you, I was like, oh, this is a musician. Like, this isn't just like a rapper, this is like a musician, like who like plays instruments and understands like music on like a slightly deeper level than just like keeping time over a beat.
Word.
Like,
I'm glad that
like,
translated.
yeah, no, like I could even tell to an extent that you were a drummer. Like,
Wow.
like, yeah, no, because like I'm also a drummer, so like I just like
Get
people,
out.
yeah, I've been playing African drums since I was in high school. I
Really,
play
really cool.
thank you. Yeah, no, I play djembe. I got my djembe in my closet right next to me. Um,
What?
but yeah, like I don't know, like it's just easy to tell when somebody's like, it's just easy to tell when somebody's used to keeping time as a drummer, because like drum and bass are like the foundation of everything. Like that's like y'all, we set the tone for that sort of thing. So it's easy to tell when somebody's used to doing that, I guess, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I guess people can definitely hear that, I can manipulate time, but to hear that I play, like, can tell that I play drums, I haven't heard that one first. You're the first one to tell me that, like, you hear the rap and can tell that I actually play drums is really insightful. So that's what's up.
Yeah, no, it was there from the jump, and that's part of the reason why I like. That's just part of the reason why I connected, and like even going back and re-listening to that project, it's like it's interesting to me that what am I trying to say? Like I went back and checked all the streaming numbers on Closer Than They Appear, and the song with the most streams on it is the one that sounds like the music you're making now. It's the song with Vic. It's
Exactly.
it made me chuckle to think that you're like, oh yeah, like I'm making this transition, and I'm like, oh, that song that sounds like this is the song that's like got like the most streams on the whole project. But I like just so we can make this transition smooth. Talk to me about making the song with Vic and how it came together, and like like especially because even though there's a lot of variety on that project, I think that song in particular is kind of singular because it's one of only a handful where you're singing and not just rapping. And like it's like that's where the Lyric Jones of now is for me. So like talk to me about that song.
Well, actually, if you don't mind, I want to actually push back a little bit on the singing part because I'm singing on half the album. It's
You're
only
right.
7 tracks on
Yeah.
there. And I'm singing on Wait a Minute. I'm singing on
Yeah.
Angelina. I'm singing on Show You How. I'm singing on one more. Rock On, Rock On.
Yep.
Um yeah. That's four
Cool.
tracks.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the
yeah.
only the only just straight rap tracks is Cruising, um Face to Face, and Wanna Say. That's three. So my vocals are like actual my actual singing voice is all over the project intentionally. So but yes, as far as sonically it being, I would say there's definitely a clear distinction of the hip hop sound with Show You How and Angelina the most. And
Yeah.
then it has a nice round ending with Wait a Minute. But to answer your question as far as how Show You How came about, that actually I was sitting on that track for a few years, maybe like since around 2018.
Oh wow.
um Howdy, also known as Dave Hodek, he sent me that track a while ago. He's the older brother to Aaron, the bassist, young kid. I think they're in Slovakia. He's incredibly viral right now. Just an ill bass player. Literally watched him grow up since he was like 5 online playing bass. But his brother is also an incredible producer and drummer. So he sent me a whole bunch of like Katra sounding stuff, and that's what I was on at the time. I was like, I really just want that Katranada sound. That is what is driving me right now, where I can kind of do both. I can rap and I can sing. And I was sitting on it for quite a bit. And when me and Tay started, that was the track where we both were in sync the most when we started coming up with the melody and the vibe. Like literally before he had to take me to the airport, we started really catching the vibe with that track, and we both looked at each other like maybe I should just stay. um, but yeah, so after I did the verse back home in LA, the hook was already done in Raleigh, but we were thinking of features. Originally, I wanted obviously Fonte to just rap on it, but he was like, just the topic matter, everything else, like I think it should be somebody else. And I remember throwing a few names out there. I think I mentioned
Hey, shout out.
Buddy and someone else. It was somebody else that is in that. It wasn't like, it was like somebody like Buddy and Smino, or somebody like, I don't think Smino was out yet to the extent where I knew who he was. Maybe Mick Jenkins. I think it was Mick Jenkins as well. But somebody who I've heard on that type of vibe. And I was like, Vic Mensa too. I really like him. He was on this track with Anderson Paak and whoop de whoop de whoop. And Tay was like, I like the idea of Vic. Hold on, let me make a call. And the next email I got was Vic on it. So, you know, that's what an executive producer does, makes it happen with those connections. So that's pretty much how that one worked. And he slid, he killed it.
Yeah. Yeah, because my favorite Vic Mensa song ever is Down on My Luck, from like right around the time when he,
Same.
yeah, like that was,
I
I
play
was like,
that a lot.
yeah, nah, I was just thinking about it earlier today. Like that was like right around the time he was kind of moving away on his own from like the more rapidy rap stuff at the time, before he kind of
Right.
came back, like cuz like he had his own phase, but yeah, like that's part of the reason why I was so excited to see that on there, because that's my favorite version of Vic Mensa. So like yeah, like he slid, you slid, like it's just like that's a song I go back to pretty often, because it just like really hits at the like it really hits at like that like, I mean, like you had mentioned Kate Renata before, but like it's like it makes me feel the way that stuff does, and it was really cool to see that song show up in the middle here, and just looking back on it now, it's like, oh, like that was kind of like the, not the nexus point, but like it really did feel like it felt like a turning point where it's like, yeah, like this feels good to do, and then you moved on and now you're here, you know.
Sorry, I had you on mute. Yes, I that to me, I was like, y'all like this sound? Say less. You ain't gotta tell me twice. I was happy to see those results. I mean, I'm sure the biggest reason is because Vic was on it, and it got on a few playlists,
Hmm.
as well as it was a single.
Right.
I think if the Little Brother song came out as a single, and that was first, it probably would have did the same. To be honest,
Right, I'm sure.
but yeah, it got picked up on multiple playlists, and it had Vic on there. He's new and hot and young, so I didn't really think too deep as to why. It would have been more eye opening if there was no feature on it and it did those numbers, because then I would have been like, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that the reason why was because Vic was the feature on there, and which is great. Which is still, that doesn't mean people didn't like it.
Of
It's
course,
just
yeah.
that was the reason the numbers were numbering.
Right, no doubt.
That's the point.
Exactly. Yeah, no, like yeah. I mean, like that synergy is part of, I guess part of the process. So like the project comes out, it goes where it goes, like the project comes out, it goes where it goes, and then um you go on another hiatus, pretty shortly after that. So talk to me about like what was happening, what inspired the break, and what brought you back to making and putting music out again.
Whew, that is a long it's heavy. But an abridged answer to that is, after that album came out during the pandemic, it was very anticlimactic for me, outside of just being in my bedroom and seeing, the accolades that I received, but it wasn't really translating monetarily and tour
Yeah.
wise or anything. So it really kind of hit home that it's like, wow, this is really smoke and mirrors. I was very proud to see Pitchfork, to see especially your review on Pitchfork, because it was very factual and detailed, and um, that vibe, all the things that, you want, all these boxes you want to check were checked. Sway, like all of that. But I'm like, okay, now what? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not fulfilled here. This is like, okay, now I gotta do all this all over again. you know?
Right.
And I just was exhausted of the idea of that. I just was not I was not having fun. And I felt like my album was a waste of such a great effort happening during the pandemic. Like, had that been now, um, or 2 3 years after, I just felt like the timing was great and horrible at the same time.
Right.
So Yeah, just that light bulb goes off and you're like, I'm not having fun anymore. I need to figure out, do I want to rap still? Do I even want to be in this space? Hip Hop 50 came around. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yep, just about.
And yeah, just about. And I wasn't called for nothing. Not one show, not one panel, not one story. And I just dedicated my whole life to this culture. So yeah, just feeling overlooked, feeling like a lot of things were being done for naught, and just not feeling like the versatility, the conversations that I was in just felt misaligned. So yeah, I just needed to fall back. Not only career wise, but just personally, nothing was really up and up also on that side too. So I started DJing more. And that's kind of like how I refell back in love with just music. I had to just remember that I'm more than just bars only.
Right.
That's what people know me for mainly. And it was very scary to consider the idea of doing a pivot this much the way I'm doing it now. But then I had to remember, like, if you've been a fan of Lyric Jones, you've already seen this
Yeah.
all over the place, you know? So I feared that all these new people that connected with me from Closer and all the my gold chain music era and all of that, and me doing house music and dance music and mainly singing, I just lost my fan base. I got to start all over. So in a way that is happening, you know, there's people who just are not resonating with that right now. And that's okay. You know, those aren't my
Right.
people. That's not my community. But that was the biggest reason of taking the step back, is really just fear and trying to find what I liked and what was the big F word, which was fun. And so
Yeah.
that's really the drive for that for me.
Yeah, I feel it to the extent that I can because like it's like we all know working in this business, it's so fickle. It's real easy to fall into a hole if you make a if or like not even if you make a wrong step. Like you said, like you can take all the right steps and shit just doesn't shake, like it just doesn't translate the way you want it to. I think between the two of us, we know so many people who've just been burned and like made all the right moves and it just didn't go nowhere. And it's like nobody's fault. It just sometimes it just doesn't happen like that. And then like of course that's going to sap away at the fun, cuz like we said earlier and like we've been saying a bunch, like if you're not having fun, you're just in it to just like pay bills, and that
That's
starts to
right.
eat away at your soul. So like like that's part of the reason why it made me happy to see you, because like you had gone away, like even just like off socials for a while and I hadn't seen you around. So like it made me happy to see you pop up as a DJ, and it made me happy to see you start putting out music that was moving in a more different direction, that was just more about like dancing and having fun, and still like you said, like listening to all these songs, like those pangs that were there before are still there. They're just being communicated differently. And
Exactly.
I think a big part of that comes from when you connected with OP, and like just like the stuff that y'all had going on. So talk to me, like if I remember correctly, I think the two of y'all connected in like 2023. So talk to me.
A little before.
Okay,
So we
cool.
connected in 2022 at
Got you.
NAM. At NAM. So yeah, I think I want to say it was the year prior, because I don't think it was 2021, because I was off tour by then. But I DJ'd on the Ultimate Ear stage at NAM, and as I got off and I was kind of mingling over at the booth, um, a mutual friend, Azia, with Fusicology, uh, grabbed me and was like, "Lyric, you have to meet OP." Whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop, and he, OP was just so gracious and like kind of just giving me my props and praises, and I'm like, okay, thank you. But he said something to me that made me go, what? He knew my, speaking of school, he's really, really good friends with my first professor in college. We talking freshman year, 9 a.m. class. you don't forget that teacher. So the first person I saw in college when I started school is his best friend. So he knew about me since college, like, and also my professor was just a really nice guy who followed my career too once I graduated and was support. And OP was like, yo, I remember your first album, Jones Street and Radar. And I know, just saying the shit, like, those people as an artist, those people who know about you and your music history. So, yeah, we exchanged numbers, and when he told me he was connected with Serato, I was just like, wow, this is just really, really dope. But OP definitely resuscitated me back to life with our song Better Now. I didn't expect our relationship to take the turn that it took in a great way, like for me and him to be so close. It was really just, him trying to get me connected with Serato Studio. But the more we talked, the more we connected. We had a lot of the same goals and taste in music. And he sent me Better Now. And I felt the same feeling that I felt when I got Adulting from Nameless. Just go. Like I was back. I was back writing. And that was the first song back. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And like to see the different directions you took Better Now in, because like there's like 4 different remixes of this song at least, like that I've heard.
Yeah.
Like like the two that really caught me outside of the original, which is like fantastic in its own right. It's just really nice to, like, once again, it's just really nice to hear you in this context. But like, like there's the original version, there's the Zoe and the Tall Black Guy remix, and then there's the Soul Clap remix.
Yes.
Which like of the remixes, I think those are my 2 favorites. What was it? Like what was it like seeing these 2 songs get what was it like seeing these 2 songs get reimagined in this way, and to just kind of be caught up in the mix of all of it? I don't know. Like this is just so cool to me.
It was dope. It was all orchestrated by me, so it was really just kind of like me putting together a project. It was like, okay, I want a remix for like 4 different. I want to put out a pack, like how house DJs do. So it was great to get Ian and then hear Zoe and Tall Black Guy's version. Soul Clap really surprised me with their version. It was more more deeper in the house bag. So all those different versions were just like exactly what I wanted to do, and just have a little bit of slice for everybody with that. And I want to continue doing that, because that is very much house music culture, is different remixes and re-edits. So just me dialing into the authenticity of the culture, just like anything else, is every song I want to have a remix to it and a different edit, making sure I have extendeds for the DJs. That's where my DJ brain came in to play. So it was definitely really cool to hear how another producer would take what I already did. I've heard my stuff remixed before, but this was like intentionally like, I want this sound from this producer and this sound from that producer, and to hear it all come together was great.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm sure, like it's like, once again, this is just like the resurrection of Lyric Jones, and just like having it play out in that way, and then like being comfortable and confident enough in this new direction that you decide to go to a place like Even.Biz and like put out a single and have people come to you, and have people come to you and support you directly in that way through a platform like Even. So like, just like one of 2 more questions before we formally wrap this up. Like, talk to me about the decision to put sorry, brain died. Talk to me about putting In Due Time on Even, and like what that experience was like, and how you feel it kind of proliferated with the audience.
Yeah, well, In Due Time, I decided for this release, especially kicking off the year, to just do it myself, going back to how I always have, just putting out things self-released. I was doing stuff with Empire since Closer Than They Appear. Mm-hmm. So I just realized lucratively it just wasn't hitting at all. It was a lot of, again, the smoke and mirrors with the game. The name of Empire was great for people, I guess, but it wasn't great for me.
Right.
Just as far as actual results. So yeah, I really just needed to find a way to connect more with the people, especially right now at this part of my journey as I'm pivoting, to lock in with people who really fuck with me now. And I'm pretty private. I'm not like reserved where nobody knows nothing about me, but I'm very intentional on what I share. So I think this is a way to reward the people who have been following me and really monetarily support and dive a little bit deeper with my behind the scenes and, demos and announcements. Like, I feel like people should be rewarded for that, especially right now if you're supporting an artist with your money. Um, I think that should be a different level of access. So yeah, I think the concept of it is really just trying to move away from streaming, even though it's still necessary for discovery. But how do you separate those people who um, are really trying to lock in with you as fans? And right now, I'm growing in a different way, so I need to find those people now. So that's
Right.
really why I wanted to try Even, and saw J. Cole doing it, and Coast Contra, and a lot of peers
Yeah.
hopping on, and it's just a little bit different from Bandcamp because it's different ways of accessing you.
Right.
So yeah, just my management brought it to my attention, and I just figured why not try it and see.
And yeah, how's the response been through Even so far?
It's been good. It's been good. It's been, people are used to what they're used to. So people are seeing my posts and stuff, and they're just like, this is cool. And it's not all the way, people are just thousands and thousands of people booking it over to Even, but the ones who got the emails, and like I said, the ones who were really my fans and tapped in are
Yeah.
tapping in.
That's beautiful. Yeah, like I'm just like it's always going to be difficult when an artist makes a pivot to a completely, I mean, like it's all black music at the end of the day, so there's always going to be like that connection, and like it's not like like it's not like you're so far removed from what you were doing before, but like this is like it's still a pretty big leap, and
Yeah.
to see people take that, and just like once again, just like as a fan, to see you do it, and you do seem very happy, like this seems like it was the right choice for you, and that you like really kind of got your groove back through the groove, so I'm just happy, just like as someone who's been following your journey for 5 years. Once again, I'm still blown by that. Like, yeah,
Thank you.
it just makes me happy to see you happy. And just to like, cause yeah, because I know you got to cut out. I don't want to keep you too much longer. To formally wrap this, Jonesy, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
Hmm. Living a double life.
Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, there's just like I touched on how I was doing Uber and Lyft, and like I'm really two different people sometimes when I'm
Mm-hmm.
living regular life, working 9 to 5s, and people have no idea what I do as an artist. I was babysitting and just little shit like that. Like, it would really show like how I would transform at night on stage. And that's been kind of a motif in my life for years. So it would just kind of show um, me being Superman or something, like Clark Kent in a way, um, unzipping my outfit into a whole nother one.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, pull it. You go into a phone booth and pull out some CDJs and some drumsticks, and it's like I'm Lyric Jones now, like on some
Definitely
shit.
something like that.
Oh, I love it. Lyric, thank you so much for coming here and for wanting to do this, and for
Of
trusting me
course.
with being someone early on this next step of your journey. Like I said, like I'm like sincerely no gas. Like I'm fucking with what you got going on, and it makes me happy to not just see you back out and about, but to see you like enjoying yourself and not just going through the motions because of what people might expect from you. Like that's
Thank you.
like that's no way to live. So, just the fact that you're still here and doing it on your terms and feeling good about it is like, yeah, it just makes me happy. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, Dylan. Like I said, anything for you. You supported me heavy, early on. So I'm definitely here to support your platform. And yeah, thank you so much. This was
Yo,
fun.
I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that. You already know. This is just, yeah. No, it's a nice way to start my weekend. Hope it is for you too. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.